Let's say we have a mobile car wash company who take bookings and go out to premises and wash your car for you. And this company has two vans, and these are the registrations on the vans. And each van can do these number of appointments per day. And a van can be out for annual service or for any other reason for a given day. And obviously we take bookings through this software as well. So this is a database that we built pretty quickly in docsndata. So what this video is about is how do we take uh, vans, van outages, bookings, and the capacity that a van can do in terms of appointment slots, and produce endpoints for a calendaring system to allow people to make bookings. So it's done using logic sheets, and I introduced logic sheets in this earlier video that I posted on the 6th of May. And in that video, we made one logic sheet that calculates slot capacity between a couple of days, between a date range. So slot capacity is on a given day, how many vans have I got and how many slots have I got as a consequence of having those vans able to do 3 appointments each. And you'll see that on the 8th we have 2 vans, on the 9th we have 1, and on every other day we have 2 vans. And the reason we have only 1 van on the 9th is because this van is out for annual service on the 9th. So that allows me to calculate slot capacity between 2 dates, that particular logic sheet. And like I said, check out this video if you want to see how that was put together. So now what we want to do is take into account the bookings that are made and combine that with the slot capacity to figure out what appointments we can show on a calendar to allow people to book. So look, the UI here for docsndata is crazy. I fully accept that. I need to take time out to make it look good. It's not a skill I have particularly, so I might look to get some help from people on that, but it's definitely on the to-do list. So these are the logic sheets. This is this is the logic sheet definition that we built in the previous video, and it's complex, but the previous video goes through it in good detail. What we want now, given slot capacity, is another logic sheet that takes into account bookings. So this new logic sheet, we'll call it bookings made. The inputs for that are going to be a date range. So we want 2 inputs. We want from date, which is a date, and we want to date, which is a date. And what we want to fetch are the bookings. So booking, we'll call it bookings in the output, where the booking date is on or after the from date, and the booking date is on or before the to date. So let's just run that now to see if we get, have we got any bookings this week, this last fortnight? No. I think there's a, when is there a booking? Let's check. Booking data, there's one on the 13th. Okay, there's one on the 13th. Let's do that. That should have come up. This should be on or before. Dear, oh dear. You think I'd rehearse this? On or before to date. Run it. Let's do this. Okay, so now we have a logic sheet that allows me to fetch bookings made between a date range. We want to transform that though. If we have a look at this slot capacity one, and we want to run this between a date range, let's say for the same date for the same period, it comes back in the format of day and an array of slots. So we want to do the same transformation, get the date into the same shape in bookings made, so that there are sort of one is subtractable from the other, if you know what I mean. So now we need to do a transform. Well, best way to do this uh, is to get the data, view it as JSON, copy it, and then go to docsndata. And if you remember from the previous video, docsndata allows me to do interesting things in terms of transforming the data. Now I have actually prepared, and this is what I did earlier to transform those bookings into the format that we want. Hold on, let me grab it correctly. So that gives me the same data shape as the other logic sheet. So if I now run this and we do bookings between the same date range, we get a compatible data shape. So now we have slot capacity telling me, given the vans we've got and the outages for those vans, how much theoretically can we do in terms of appointments. And we've got another logic sheet that says, give me the bookings made between a date range. So the cool thing that logic sheets can do now is logic sheets can use other logic sheets. So we can use these two logic sheets to make a final logic sheet which shows me what slots have I got to sell on an appointment booking calendar. So let's make another logic sheet, and we call this one available slots. And this will include the slot capacity, and we'll call that capacity in the output. And we need to make the other, include the other sheet, which is bookings made. And when we're including sheets, it knows, it aggregates the inputs that the other sheets are required. Both of these require a from date and a to date, so it's collapsed them into one thing. And we should now be able to run this between the same date ranges. And we see that we get capacity coming back and we get bookings coming back. So it's running the two sheets underneath. We can view that as JSON. We can copy that JSON. We can go to docsndata. And now we need to write an expression that converts that data shape into a data shape we want for our calendar system. And again, I have prepared this. There's a lot going on in this one. I may do a different video to talk it through, but it's basically, it's reasonably complex docsndata. The bit that's annoying is that there's no way in docsndata to remove the first item of the first item in an array. So I had to write a helper function to do that. But effectively what's happening is we're going through the capacity, converting them into a list of capacity items where the day and the slot are distinct, and then doing the same for bookings, and then eliminating the booked items from the capacity items, and that becomes your availability. So if I grab that and put it in here into the transform, let's run it. So on this date range, what's available? So let me think, it was the 13th. Okay, so the 13th, if I do from the 12th to the 14th, on the 13th we should have only 5 availability slots. And we do, all the others have 6. So it works nicely. So this is pretty powerful, and this allows us to do effectively composition of logic sheets. So you can do a logic sheet to say, tell me what's theoretically possible, a logic sheet to say, tell me what's booked, and then combine them with a bit of transform into say what's available. And the next step is then to convert that into an endpoint. So if I take the endpoint and I call this get available, and the logic sheet that I want to handle that is the available slots. Pretty soon, it's not done right now, I'm not going to lie. That will become a REST endpoint that you can call with the inputs that are the aggregate of the inputs from all of the logic sheets involved. And you'll be able to invoke that and get back your JSON. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty powerful coming soon in a video, hopefully next week.